A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Why's That. And now here on Why's That, I'd very much like to highlight really quickly that here, question number 36 is pretty much going to be a big one here, because after all, I haven't really done a lot in terms of milestone challenges. So this question in particular is kind of an appropriate time for me to highlight, because after all, this question is in fact going to allow us to dive into the main reason why milestone challenges happen. So the question itself specifically says, why is that you perform internet challenges, or call them milestone challenges, in parentheses, if and only when you reach a certain milestone in your life? Now, of course, I feel like that was probably just well said right there, because after all, there's not really much people I could probably get to know about that happen to type words correctly or spell anything correctly. They just want to try and be hip and try to be much different than anyone and everyone else out there. Well, I don't know about you, but I was in fact raised book smart, so I don't know about you, but man, I've grown up with reading books and not doing a lot about the internet, but because the internet constantly updates itself in terms of news in comparison to actual books, I've kind of just abandoned reading, specifically so that way internet reading can be a much quicker and better experience in any case. But enough about that, because what I got to say about milestone challenges in general is the fact that, well, a lot of people do internet related challenges out there. Some people might actually go ahead and invent new ones left and right. And there actually have been a few new ones that have been circulating the web for the past month or so. I can't really seem to remember what they were. I mean, there were a lot of challenges from the last 5 years that many of us have gotten to know about. And as a matter of fact, there have been a lot of them that have actually caused a lot of controversy. And you know what? I can never talk about any of those in my entire life. I'd much rather have them completely removed from existence. Completely. Without even a trace, and then have them blanked from our memories. I'd rather have that happen than to have them on the web for everyone to see for a single nanosecond. I'm dead serious. But going back to milestone challenges, like basically what I happen to do on certain occasions, just like what I've talked about bringing back the vlogathon every now and then, or unofficial podiatry, or face cam specials and surgeons, or sometimes other sub-series that I have on my channel. What I got to say about milestone challenges in general is that, well, for the first part, doing a milestone challenge would actually become a rewarding experience, because after all, my business itself, Kaiju Force Neo, being that it is 15 years old, yeah, no joke. I wasn't even 6 when I first started it. But what I can say about milestone challenges and why they have to happen is sometimes, I guess lots of people out there will probably do anything for extra views, subscribers, and likes and the like, and well, you know what? I felt like cashing in on that little part right there. But you know what though? There actually have been a couple of questions that I probably could be sabotaging at this point or taking a stab at, because after all, a lot of challenges that I've done back then, especially from 2009 to 2013, those were pretty much times where my channel wasn't necessarily meant for anyone, especially those with the right mindsets, because I didn't know better that back then. I was really young. I was almost unexperienced with any of this stuff, very inexperienced with a lot of things at all to begin with, but to operate a YouTube channel back then, I mean, it was great to have a YouTube channel at all back in 2008 and 2009, because not many people had known about YouTube back then. But now everybody has to know about YouTube. I mean, it's almost a necessity at this point to know what YouTube even is. And looking back at it again, 2009 to 2013, those were pretty much times where challenges I've done were very dangerous. They oftentimes got me injured or pretty much scarred. I especially do remember at one point where I ended up pricking my wrist against a sharp object on a wall at one point. I pretty much had this little slit scar right here that's about this long Probably for life. But I guess it all depends on what's happening here. Of course, I wasn't the right person at all to talk to for advice either, because even though I have talked a lot about some controversies and the like back then, the challenges, of course, were one of the big things that pretty much sealed my fate. Almost forever at that point. Because not only was I getting in trouble with a lot of people out there at that time, but those times were also times where my channel got so big with a lot of, well, somewhat positive, almost negative influences that, well, the whole experience itself, looking back at it now, they're memories that I never want to have in my life again. Just like with, well, those other internet challenges that we have in more recent times, I'd rather have memories like those from my past removed as well, blanked from my mind completely, as well as from everyone else as I was able to witness them. But you know what though, looking at my channel in more recent times, like within the last 5 years or so, especially given to the fact that my channel has gotten a lot better now since, well, I've learned from my mistakes, I've really taken into consideration about what the consequences could possibly be if I ever acted up like that again. I instead decided to go for some more SFW related content. And if I ever wanted to do challenges like those in life, the ones that don't involve any pain or harm or destruction or anything at all like that, then well, I actually thought of an idea for it. To cross certain milestones in my lifetime. And the last 5 years have pretty much just been that. There were times where I had uploaded challenge-related videos onto my channel, and I currently do have more than 15 of them, especially ones from the last 2 years alone, in a playlist that I have created based on, well, accumulative milestones that resulted in me eating a large meal, for example, or sitting down on a bench for 1 hour, or shooting a lot of Nerf darts out into an open range. But those of which had only been done because, simply put, I had crossed milestones in my life, mostly based on my social media progress that I've had, whether I've established a certain number of followers or I've uploaded a large number of posts onto whatever platform it is. I've especially had milestone challenges taking place from my YouTube channel, my Twitter, like both of my Twitter accounts at the time before the first one got removed, as well as my Instagram. And as a matter of fact, not long ago I actually uploaded a milestone challenge about an Instagram related milestone that I crossed, which was 395 posts. So less than 400 Instagram posts had been up, and that is actually what gave me an idea to read an entire movie script without fumbling or stuttering or anything else of that sort. I would be talking fast, auctioneer style pretty much. I'll pretty much put a link down in the description box below so you can watch it for yourself. And of course, there was a pretty smelly twist that took place every time I messed up on reading that whole thing. And I thought it was kind of fun, actually. To create more safe for work sort of content out there, yeah, I'm kind of getting used to that sort of, well, millennial talk, if you will. That actually is a lot more positive for me and for everyone else on YouTube. And looking at it now, I wish I could have done safe stuff like this back when I was a child. A 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 13-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, I mean, yeah, those were some really rough moments in my life. But now that I've gotten past them, and I'm a full-grown adult, 21 years old and counting, milestone challenges aren't really going to be the type that maybe everyone would enjoy, but in case you do want to check out challenges that I perform, for everyone out there who also happens to do them, then well, please be sure to check out my playlist on milestone challenges. And keep in mind, there are going to be a lot more that I will have in the future, so please stay tuned for those if you will. But if you want to see more go down on Why's That, as well as my channel, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.